The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday, everyone. We made it. We got through the week. I'm in Los Angeles, California still. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I feel like maybe that's how Meghan Markle sounds on her podcast. Dignified. She has a new podcast out. If you haven't heard it yet, don't. I haven't listened to it yet, but
is that what it's called?
It's called like Renegades. No, it should be. That's such a good point. I think it's called like Archetypes. It's just like, come on, get over yourself.
Is it just her talking in the bathroom?
No, she has a guest, but apparently the first episode was with Serena Williams, and she didn't let Serena get a word in. And I go, wow, I'm just like Meghan Markle. I felt for the first time I was like, wow, we're similar.
You could be royalty.
I used to do impressions
of her
on my
Meghan Markle
Instagram.
just being like in a closet, like, welcome to Archetypes. Don't tell Harry or anybody that I'm doing this. I know I could get murdered for talking or even.
Well, I was thinking the same thing about it. I was like, man, because she apparently the most controversial thing she said on the first episode was like, oh no, it was second episode. Mariah Carey was on, and Mariah Carey, I guess, I don't know why I'm saying that all like Mariah Carey said,
Your Carey?
Turning into you. We all carry the weight of Mariah Carey. It's all of our burdens culturally. But she apparently said to her, like, to Meghan, Mariah was like, well, you've got a little inner, like, you've got a diva in you. And Meghan was like, like it was nervous. I'm getting all this from the Daily Mail, who's like, anytime a celebrity walks out, they're like, Rebel Wilson flaunting her flawless pins. And it's like, she just was walking to her car. She wasn't flaunting anything. So it was like, I read it on the Daily Mail because they're obsessed with her. But she does have to tread so carefully, especially in light of watching the Diana documentary. Like, but she's free from the royal family. Like, that's the point. Like, she can do anything she wants, even though I cannot imagine how much money she's making from that fucking podcast. And rightfully so. I mean, I think it's number one. But I mean, what do you think?
British pound, it's a lot.
Oh, God. Well, she lives in California. You know that, right?
Yeah, but
they escaped.
I know. Then it gets sent over.
It's so hot to me that Harry left his entire family for her and like said goodbye to all of that for her, to protect her.
To be honest,
because she got suicidal.
What is he
like
missing?
Like his mom.
It's not fun over there. He's not having a good time.
Do you know how hard it is to leave that, though?
I'd get out.
Even, it's like leaving Mormonism. Like, it might be hell, but it's all you know. Like,
no, I know.
I don't. No, I know you are, but I do find it like so fucking attractive that he did that for her, and like just how by her side, you can tell that he just like loves her so much, and risked everything. But I was thinking that this podcast that she's doing, I was like, it like, I would be worried, even though she's free of the royal family, like she has to still tread so carefully because everyone's watching her every move, wanting her to fuck up. Even me, manifesting it in my daily rituals, just being like, please let Meghan Markle misstep. But
yeah, for sure.
But I love that. I forget that interview she did with Oprah where she said she was suicidal, which anyone of that nature admitting, as someone who has those thoughts as well, admitting that publicly is so brave. And maybe I'm tooting my own horn, but like, I was just talking to last night, Whitney and Ben Glebe. We were at the Comedy Store and we were talking about admitting things that you think, I forget who we were saying something about, but if you say it, people won't want to work with you. Like if you say too much, you might become a liability. And that's always been my worry about saying I have suicidal thoughts, is like, well, we don't want to give her the Tonight Show. She's going to kill herself. And then what are we going to do? And it's like, well, it'd be great advertising. It'd be great press
TV. For
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I do it live on air. No, I'm like, but it's not, no one cares. People, Chris Farley was on a path to death and people were not intervening. Like, as long as you're making people money, they're not looking if you're a liability down the road. They want to make the dollar right now. So it's like, it's almost sad that no one cared that I was suicidal when I said it on, like, that none of my reps were like, hey, do you need a break? Or like,
yeah.
Or
they're
on
like,
Rogan
look,
when
we
I
got
said
you
it.
4 more shows in Salt Lake
They're
City.
like, can you say that more? Because that got you a lot of press. And I'm like,
there
I'm
was
stressed.
a bump. There was a bump.
And I'm going to do a couple to feel better. But I was thinking about it occurred to me when I was doing Kimmel, and I was, we were talking about the hardest part of the show for me was like trying to be present during the interviews, hear what they were saying, laugh, set them up for good stuff, not try to make it about me. Don't try to shoehorn punchlines. No one is going to go, wow, great comeback with Dan. Like, just be natural. And there was a point that I wanted to make when he was talking about, and maybe have gotten cut because I didn't see the interview, but he was talking about Mel Brooks and Arnold doing voices for his cartoon and how it all happened during COVID. And I just wanted to say, like, I picture Arnold under a blanket, like doing voice. It's such an inside thing of like people who do audio know like how like crazy it looks. Like sometimes you're under a blanket, like in a closet in a hotel room being like, Dave Matthews Band Radio, Channel 30, this week on Labor Day weekend. Like,
I can see Arnold like inside one of his horses.
Yeah.
Like like inside a Clydesdale.
Oh
just being like, I'm in.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do this for Clydes. I don't know. Why did I give him a British accent?
Why could he? Why do I picture him in a horse? That's weird. That I could
because
easily
he owns
do that.
horses. He's all about horses.
Oh yeah, there's like a pony like walking around his house.
He
I think, or a
punches a
donkey or
horse
something.
in the face in one of his movies.
Oh, in that one,
and
I love that scene
it's unbelievable
because you can tell it's so fake. Like
Yes.
he didn't actually hurt the horse because the horse kind of just there's a minute, it's a beat where it kind of goes like someone off camera goes fall and then it like falls.
Well,
and it's
I'm
kinda
sure there
cute.
was a conversation where Arnold was like, "Look, I want to hit the horse. It's got to be.
Should I just punch it? Should I just do it? We can go to lunch earlier." They're like, we might. I bet back in the 70s though, there were like a little bit of lax laws about like stuff
of
on.
course.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like, you know what? Hit it with your left hand, Arnold.
Animals were
you
getting
know.
punched.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
hit it with your left. Give it a break.
How many animals in Braveheart fell?
Just
after
don't break
getting
its leg because we'll have to kill it.
I don't know how
yeah.
they did that, but Braveheart, they got hit all with spikes. Remember, they
Well,
all
they
ran
were-
into.
Oh, well, Mel didn't care. The horses were Jewish.
They did have little yarmulke.
He made sure to have Jewish horses for him. Andrew, I did not see it. Your show, I kind of texted you late on Tuesday night to see how it went. I had no doubt it was going to be like epic, and I hate that word, but how was it? Tell us about it.
I mean,
Zanies,
without
headlining.
sounding cheesy. So yeah, I got to I did an hour. The only other time I've ever done an hour, you saw it, was when I did my one-man
Yeah,
show.
and
I was
it was an hour and a half. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
it was
like ran
easily
through
an hour and a half.
So I
had
was
no question
still
that you
worried
had the
about
material.
the time. I was still worried
Yeah,
about
of
the
course,
time.
of course.
Especially, because, there it's more laxed about. But I was like, I'm going to do these longer stories. I'm going to fucking put them in there. I don't give a fuck. And I don't know. The stories, it's just, you've done it so many times, but the timing and of doing an hour versus like 15 to 20 minutes.
I don't tell
it's-
stories though, dude.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that's different.
But it's like this like feeling of like ba-ba, like getting joke after laugh. But like you could have moments where they're still listening. And I was just proud of myself where like I wasn't
I do
crushing
not do that
at
Yeah.
some point. At some points, and there was some quiet, and it was like, and I just kind of sat in it, and I was very present, and I
You're
went
good
into
about that.
Yeah,
You're good.
So-
I watch you even in your smaller sets that you do, and I sometimes resent it because I can't do it, but you are able to get them back to a place where they're like calm down again, and they're like on the edge of their seats. You do not need to fill the silence. You're not insecure in that way on stage, and I think that
I don't know how I'm not.
I don't know either, dude, because it doesn't fit anything else about you. But you really can do this thing where you just kind of like you'll just take your time. And I know that you know what's next. And sometimes you'll say like, you'll make it like casual, but you just can be in those moments. You can like take your time. It's really, I want to get better at being slower like that. But I remember Louis saying like, you can't have the highs without the lows. Like if you're going on a roller coaster and the whole thing is just down, by the end of it, you're just like, well, you're gonna have to have moments where everyone goes, what's he like? Oh, wait, what's next? Like we're kind of like back down to, but I always get worried that because I know about human psychology and sociology and what people remember, that they're going to remember the moments where they didn't have faith in me to keep going. But the truth is, they do have faith in you. I am thinking that they don't think. Like,
I don't
I
have
can
faith
watch
in
an
myself.
artist. You
like,
do,
that's
though.
when it comes,
yeah.
No,
but
I
yours
know, but
comes
I'm saying,
across
like,
as like, I'm fine watching you. I don't get nervous. Like, there is a way to do it where you take beats. I gotta learn how to do that. So you felt
had
like
a moment,
loose and
I felt
natural,
loose.
one man
I
showy.
felt present. I felt like there was 100 people there, so I was really
Yes,
like,
on a Tuesday
surprised.
night,
Like,
that's fucking amazing.
Do you think it's
And,
because you played sports as a kid?
that it helps me for moments like this.
Yeah.
No, because I never was like the man on sports either. Like
No, but
I was always like
Yeah.
the fifth best guy on the team or something. You know, like
But
I
why
never.
would that help, Noah? What's your reasoning
so
there?
I was playing with my nephew the other day, and he's, like into sports and stuff, and we were playing like monkey in the middle, and he would like come up to me and try to tackle me, and he had like no hesitation about it. And I was thinking like, wow, I wonder if this is going to like translate to later in life where you just go into something with no hesitation. And I just know that I never had that as a kid.
I don't know. The older I got, the more fear I had in sports.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sometimes with stand up, it's the same way. It's kind of a weird thing. You'll go to like a competition, and the person that's like 2 months in will have the most confidence in the room because they just haven't felt pain of failing so
Defeat
much, or
yet.
they have
don't
like a
know how
blind.
bad it feels to get tackled yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, your nephew has not been
Beat
punched
up.
in the face or beat up. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't know, because that's when you start flinching, is when you know when
Yes.
you burn yourself on the stove. Otherwise, you're putting your
True.
hand on the stove.
True.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting. Like, I think
then
you're
you
right.
could-
Like,
yeah.
the more you do it, the more you have more data where you're like, I know how badly this can go. I did a
Yeah.
set last night where I was trying to be more slow and like measured. The audience was terrible. Like, no offense to people who were at the Comedy Store last night on Wednesday, but main room, you were drunk. It was not all of you, but there was like a couple people that were just too drunk, laughing at the wrong times, like trying to make the show about them and like when they laugh. And so it was just, I heard it backstage and I go, oh, this set that I'm going to try to get something done on, it's worthless. Like, I heard Tom Papa's set, and then when Tom brought me up and we crossed paths, and I just go, he goes, they are drunk. And I was like, oh. And then it became so fun because I was like, this all, I don't have to, I can just experiment. I'm going to go through like new stuff. And it was easier. And there were times where I was like, I'm not doing well. Like, these setups are longer. There was just moments where there's like too much silence for me, where I start to go into, you're bombing if there's not laughter. But I got off stage and Ben Glebe watched me. Maybe he's just being nice, but he was like, that was awesome. Like, it was great. It was actually great because it wasn't that I wasn't funny. People were just listening and it was interesting. And
That's
people
the
were,
thing. They're
you
just
don't need to
listening,
have,
and it's I know and
we need
But
active
you know what I
listeners.
learned?
We need people to go, really? Okay, I'm still listening. Like, that's what comedians need, is like constant, like, are you guys still there? And that's why that's what laughs confirm. But otherwise, you think they're tapped out when they're just listening.
we definitely had besties there last 2 nights ago, and there was this one guy, and there was a couple funny moments with like crowd work, because like I was really happy with my crowd work and like going back to the guy and bringing it in and like really just the rhythm of it. But one guy had his shirt unbuttoned all the way down to like his belly button, and I was just like, and you're sitting in the front row facing the I was like, what is this? Like, this can't be your look. And whatever, like I went in on the guy, but like in a fun way. And
Did you call him like Benjamin Unbuttoned?
that would've
Did
been
you like
good.
have a fun?
Where were you?
Listen, I'm in a relaxed state right now.
But my point is that, so I'm like razzing him a little, and his girlfriend goes, he passed a kidney stone and still came to your show. I was like, oh my God, that's like your
That's
dick
like
was
saying he
bleeding
just gave
an hour.
birth.
Yeah. And then I go, can anyone beat that? Does anyone have 7-stage
Oh, that's
cancer?
so fun.
And then
Like, who has a better story of like what they overcame to get here? How far did you drive? Like, how many people? Like,
But I went right to
you-
cancer, like late cancer, and
course.
it hit pretty hard.
Because we all
but
get there eventually.
It would have hit harder though if like I probably didn't pick the most.
Oh, good dude. How
But
often?
my point
that's
is-
comedy for you is just like taking a
Oh.
risk like that and then going, oh, man, I was on the right path, but I overshot it a little bit.
Like his buttons.
I've done that so much where I go, I take it. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I don't even want to say it because I don't even know how I can say this without, because I'm trying to be obviously more private about my personal life and my relationship because I like am so obsessed with it right now and it's just the best thing in the world. And it's because I've chosen to be just more loving and like not as freewheeling with it's like I can just say anything about my relationship. Like I'm trying to respect it more, but I'm gonna try to get through this without breaching anything because I think it's funny. I was on stage and people already kind of know that I was talking about jealousy and being jealous of J-Lo, and then I was talking about I've said it before, like I don't care if on stage, so I think it's okay. I don't care if my boyfriend like hooks up with other girls. I'm actually turned on by it. And these two really hot girls in the front row, like front-ish row, original room in the store, if you've been there, it's like kind of like a more like intimate setting. Yeah. Feels like a bar show. I was talking about like, I've been the other woman before. No women admit to it, but like, I don't care if you like, I went after a guy that had a girlfriend. I didn't fucking care. And I don't really feel that bad about it. And I'm grappling with that. And they were like, well, and I go, no one ever admits to being another woman. And the girls go, woo! And I go, except these fucking whores. And they go, we're going to fuck your boyfriend. And I go, it's funny you say that. You think that I would be threatened by that, but I actually like that. You guys are very hot. Honestly, DM me. I will set it up. I will be turned on by that. And then I just took it one step too far. Like, do you ever?
Oh my God.
Like the audience was kind of on board with it because it's just such an outrageous thing to say. But then I took it to a place where things I say in the bedroom that are like the shorthand that Chris and I have in our intimate bedroom setting of like the kind of dirty talk that we do. I'm so used to talking that way and having it be totally fine and like acceptable and almost sound like that's just the way you talk in the bedroom. Everyone must talk that way. That I said the most filthy thing I've maybe ever said in the bedroom, but it's something, it would be, it's up there. And I said it about them fucking my boyfriend and then like what I would do afterwards. And it shut the room down in such like, it was crickets so fast where people were like, like it was all of a sudden like someone saw my porn search history. Like it's almost like I opened my laptop at a Starbucks and like my porn from last night was like, and you're just like, oh my God, they just saw like it.
Why is Hunter Biden
like,
on there? Yeah.
Yes. It was so gross that everyone was just like, oh. And it was so funny because I also had this guy from Esquire magazine who's following me around that night and watching my sets, and he witnessed that. And I hope he references it in some way because it was such a perfect example of me just being like where I'm exposing part of myself that I think me being such an open person, I say everything. There are still things I can say that can absolutely shock people. And it was, but you know what it was? It was kind of like, I've talked about it before, how I would like to do porn someday. Like it was impressively pornographic in a way that I think the silence was also people being like too horny for it. I hate when I say horny, it goes, but like horniness and comedy don't mix. Like your dick, if it's like has blood rushing to it, I've talked about it in my special. So I think it was that too, but it was that thing that you talked about where you're just like, oh man, I had them and I lost them on a dime because I just said something so gross, but I do stand by it and those girls can DM me and I would like to set it up. But no, that's not my relationship right now. It's not everything you fantasize about has to be a reality. I just have to say I'm very happy in my relationship. Hey. It's the best it's ever been, and he's been in Iceland for 8 days. It's awesome. Do you find the distance makes the heart grow fonder?
Yeah, no, it does. For sure. I was only gone for 2 days, but yeah, no. When you get back, I don't know. I was driving back and I was listening to someone talk about how much love they have for their partner. And I was like literally getting teared up while driving back, thinking like, wow, this person really does love me for just my who I am. And I don't know, just like the love. I was thinking about the love she has for me, not how much I love her, but like, how can someone love me so much? And I was just like driving, like, oh, fuck, man. She fucking loves me, dude.
I just had that too. It's sad to say that I just let that in after 9 years with this person, or like going through so many different phases of our relationship. But I just had that too of like, I think, I hate to speak in like, F-boy island talk, but at the end of the day, his walls are coming down and so are mine, because I had to bring my walls down first. I did not realize in my relationship that I was the one that is avoidant and scared of commitment and scared of forever and scared of like, I think that I got into this archetype, talk about archetypes now on Spotify, but I got into the archetype of the girl that is like, why doesn't this guy want to marry me? I want to get married. He's afraid of commitment. Like, it's easy to play that character where, even on my reality show, it's like I was pursuing Chris. He doesn't want to get married. It's just that's a role I play, but I'm the one that is creating this vibe from him that then makes me this desperate character. I'm setting the stage for that. Like, if you don't realize like you can create the narrative about yourself that you want by having people like, and
it kind of showcases you.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to the same thing, but like you can not make up a story, but you can make a story where it's like, my mom did this, so then I'm like this. And maybe you, like, for me, like, maybe I'll even, like, you could exaggerate it or whatever to make yourself
to give you an excuse for why you are the way you are.
The excuse for
it's not
who you are.
You're not a bad person. You're not, like, it's someone else's
This
thing.
is why
we'll be right back and we'll investigate this more right from this break. Yeah, we were talking about love and feeling loved before we went to break. And yeah, I'm just starting to be like, oh my God, this person, because I was so depressed last week and he was so like, I just kept telling him like, run away from this. Like, who wants to be with this? Like, how could you possibly want to be around such a negative Nelly? And like,
I just picture him on top
I had a
of a
Band-Aid on my
mountain in
face. I was
Iceland.
rapping.
Like he's in ice having the time. He's like holding up like a stake that he used to climb the mountain. And he's like, yeah, and you're on the other end. Like, I just don't understand. I did Kimmel, and he's like,
go back to your friends. Yes. I was like, run away from me. And I wasn't trying to push him away. I was really like, just check back in when I'm a better person. Like, just forget you have a girlfriend because this is not fun to deal with and there's nothing you can do. And he was just like, I am not going anywhere. I don't care. Like, this is it. Like, this is what you are. And like, it's just the way it is. Like, it was almost kind of like sickness and in health. Like
yeah.
And he thrives in that state too. Like, he likes being there for me in those times and just not having to fix it, but just like listening, being there. It's, I think it makes him feel closer to me when I can be, really honest about how bad I feel. And I sometimes go, because I remember in our relationship prior, like I would talk bad about myself, or I would say I'm so like ugly or whatever I was struggling with. And I would be like, I remember him, maybe he didn't say it, but I just remember someone being like, when my partner talks like that about themselves, like, why would I want to be with someone that doesn't even like themselves? Like, what do you think of me if I'm with you? And I think whether he said that or I heard that somewhere back then, it's not the way he feels now. Like, the love we have for each other, I could say anything bad about myself and it's not going to make him go, oh, I never saw that about you. I was always kind of scared of revealing something that's like, now you're going to see the real thing and now you're going to run away. It's like, I could become,
he accepts you.
I could be in an acid attack and have no face and he would still be attracted to me. He would still want, yes, he accepts me. And so, that really confounds me though.
Oh, I'm kind of similar, I think, to you in a way where I don't like to ask for help. I don't like people helping me a lot until it like gets to the point where like I need all the help sometimes. And like,
until
I feel
it's
like
just so much
with you're so strong in so many ways where it's like, this person doesn't need anything. at all. And then it's like, no, I do. But because I think like some people like go, oh, you can help me today. Like it's like little increments of help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then it's like,
and that's
it
Chris's
builds
love
up.
language.
Yeah,
He likes
yeah.
to be of service. And it makes him feel good. It makes anyone feel good to help out others. I always talk about it whenever if you're depressed out there, the number one way to get out of it, and I should have told myself this past weekend, but I was not, depressed people are not in a state to figure out things that'll make them feel better, because the problem with depression is that you convince yourself this is the state that this is reality, and anything to get you out of it would be an illusory, dreamlike world where you don't want to be one of the sheep. You want to know how bad life is. And so you get stuck in it. So I really don't want to take advice, but anytime I'm just like, can we start talking about me? Can I just like hear about your life and like give you some advice? Like helping someone else takes you out of it. But he loves doing that shit. And I think that, I just need to get depressed more often for our relationship. No, it was really like, I don't know. I was just like, sometimes it does strike me where it's the same thing with what my mom says she loves me. And I go, but why? Like, I want information about what you love about me, because I feel like I want to hear like, you make me feel this. Like, I get it from my friends, but sometimes I feel like, when people just love you unconditionally, the way that Brenna loves you unconditionally, the way you're talking about, where it's just like, oh my God, someone like deeply loves me in a way that like my mom does, just because I exist. And I'm that person. Like, that's what I'm replacing. Like, that's what you get a partner for, I believe, is because your parents die, and that unconditional someone who is supposed to love you unconditionally is going to leave this earth, and you need to replace them with someone else that is just like, I'm in it, I'm family. And I have that from my friends, but I'm really starting to feel that like, okay, I stop questioning why Chris loves you, even though he puts up with all this stuff that you think makes you unlovable. Just surrender yourself to the fact that he does. And it's just like the way your dad or your mom loves you. Like it's that deep now that it doesn't need definition. It doesn't need evidence and proof.
I would fine tune that and take out puts up with to accepts.
Well, I guess I was saying puts up with to be the most negative version of myself in that scenario. But you're absolutely right. Accepts. But you're right. But in my most negative state, I go, God, what am I offering him except like, I know sexually, like I blow it out of the park every fucking time. But like, that is not enough to keep a relationship going. And it's certainly, I know him enough to know that like it takes more than that. So sometimes I'm like, what is he getting out of this? And I think that just is me I do need to know more of like, I need to know what I do that makes him feel like he loves me so much so I can do more of it. And I figured out that with men, just from reading Reddit really, and having male friends, but really Reddit, and I've talked about this before, men are starved of hearing what they mean to you, how complimenting them about their personality, their looks. Like, men are so thirsty for it. And I think that in the past with Chris, I watched Jerry Maguire last night, and I'm like, oh my God, this is our relationship. Like, if you remember that movie, I was up till 3 watching it. I'm just going through all my favorite movies. When Harry Met Sally, Jerry Maguire. And it's so interesting to see these movies from an adult lens, because in that movie, I thought Renee Zellweger and Jerry Maguire liked each other equally, and then it just didn't work out. But she was so in love with him, put him on a pedestal, would do anything to make it work. He did not love her in that way because he wasn't capable of it. And also he shouldn't have, because she loved him blindly. So he didn't actually feel, you can't love someone that you go, this person loves me and they don't really know me. He didn't feel seen because he didn't let his walls down. She shouldn't have loved him that way. So eventually she says to him, like, this was a mistake. It was my fault. I thought I could love us enough for both of us, and it's not the case. So then they get, they separate, and then he finally, lets his walls down and loves her. And it kind of happens a little too quick for my taste upon second viewing, but it's a movie and they got to get it under 2 hours because they used to respect your time back in the 90s with movies. But I just feel like I used to want Chris to love me so much and just get that, like, I love you, that I didn't leave him space to actually do it. And I think once, And now I'm so cagey about putting too much love on him because I used to not get it back enough. Like I used to be like, I love you so much. And then he'd be like, love you too. You know, like he was trying to match me to be polite, but I can tell it wasn't the same as what I was feeling. But the truth is I didn't love him in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
you
he
could
was
say
reacting
it,
the
but
right
yeah.
way. You know, like, but now I feel like I need to be
I'm
more
thinking
effusive about my feelings because he
But
loves
like
it.
I think with Jerry Maguire, and I think maybe even with you a
Show
little
me the
bit,
money.
is like, but honestly, kind of like Jerry Maguire, like the whole point of the movie is like he searched for, you know, as many clients as possible and being a ruthless agent, and his career was fucking everything, and that's where he found his happiness, is signing the most money and all this like ego stuff. And I feel like with you, where you've like you had your head down so much for your career this whole time that like how could you love someone if you're that focused on, you know, finding happiness in your career and finding and
From the
and-
outside.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, of
outside
course,
validation
of course.
that is so, and that doesn't mean anything. And at the end,
But you have to go through it to learn that. It's kind of like the monkey in the
Yeah.
middle with Noah's like nephew. It's like he doesn't know that like, oh, you experience so many highs in this business already, and you're going to only get more. But it's like trying to feed that, like whatever, like that validation from outside.
I really related to that movie.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I could see
related to
that.
her and him and fucking Cuba Gooding Jr.
Well, she
I
has
mean, I
blonde
related to
hair.
it all.
Yeah, and the baby boy wears glasses and has blue eyes and weighs 8.
I don't know
human head
why
weighs
they had
8
to make her
pounds.
26, though. I would have liked to see this woman be a little bit older in his age. He's 35 and she's 26. And I'm like, well, couldn't she have been 34 in the movie? Like, I'm glad they cast her and it was probably based on that. But like, I don't need her to be so young. But it makes sense because she's maturity wise, they're kind of at the same place because he's so stunted from having this like career, and she's grown up more because she's a single mom. So it does make sense. But man, I just feel like, do men, I should say, like
Boys to men.
I think that if you want more from people, you got to give it first. Like you got to be the one to, like, if and I think that I've just been so cagey about showing, like, being so loving to Chris because I used to not get it back, that if I give him that again, he won't give it back. But our relationship is different now. It's like I'm dating a different person. So I want to be more effusive because he seems to really respond to it. And then I get it back and it's like, oh my God, whoa, I think I've just been so, it's like, yeah, it's like exactly like the monkey in the middle thing of like, I got tackled too much early on with the same person and I didn't get back, and it hurt so much that I don't want to give up anything now. And I'm more cagey with my feelings, and I have to realize like, I got to do the uncomfortable thing if I want to get that back.
Well, what's so cool about life in general, but with relationships, like let's say 9 times in a row, the person doesn't respond how you want them to respond. But then like, let's say, the 8th and 9th time you finally speak up and you go, okay, this isn't working, like this, like whatever, like you got to change. And then the 10th time they actually like change.
Yeah.
It's not like life. You're like, whoa, they're going to go back to you're like, okay, this is who they are now. And this is great, and let's go from here. Like that's,
I like that.
You know, it's hard to,
Well,
you know what I
because
mean?
they
Like
will
I think
regress.
like in life,
like you will relapse. You will have those moments where you go back to the first
Sure.
9 times you were doing it, because that is so ingrained in us. And by the time we're 35, I'm learning this from this book that I actually am finishing, you guys. Breaking the Habit of Being
What?
Yourself by Joe Dispenza.
Nice.
I have so much to say about it. I want people to read it because I want to make fun of it so badly.
Joe Dispenza.
Okay, I'll read
What is
it.
it? The Life of a Mafioso.
It's so, and you got to listen to his meditations, because I love this guy's writing so much. But Joe, if you're listening, your meditations are fucking insane. And I just need you guys to do one of his meditations on YouTube, and just so I can make fun of it. We can talk about it. And see if you can get through it, because I could not. But what you're saying is, like I actually was on a run recently, and I told Chris, because we were just on such a good stretch of loving each other so much. And he's like, hey, if you put in this effort, that the things I need from you, my love language, if you work towards doing these things that for you just don't think like, why would that matter to him? But it does. Like, you need to understand these do. So please. And I said the same to him. And I said to him, I was on a run recently, and I was like, oh, I got to tell him this analogy of our relationship is going to be like a run. A long run where I'm like, I'm not going to stop running, but there are going to be stretches of it where it looks like I'm walking almost. Like there's going to be times where I'm never going to give up. I'm giving you that promise. Like I obviously haven't yet, but just know that I'm not going to always be sprinting. It's not always going to look that impressive, and it's going to look, but I'm not going to walk. Like, you know, if you go on a run, if you're a runner and you start walking, you don't run again. I mean, it's rare where you go, I'm going to just take a break and get some water, and then you get up to a pace again. Once you stop, you're kind of like, well, I'm going to stop my app, Nike Run app. And then they say something, you know, like, hey girl, you got out there today, and every run is just a little change in the penny jar. And someday you're going to cash out. And you're like, that is insulting. It's like Usain Bolt being like, whoa, I saw you out there today. You almost caught up to me. I got to watch my back. And you're like, stop this condescension. But, that's how it feels. Like I just don't want to stop running, and it might look like I'm one of those old men who runs like they're throwing a baseball, where they're just like limping, like the old man in town that you would see running on the side of the road constantly. It might look like that. And I told him, I was like, Chris, I'm not going to walk. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to give up on this run. I got to complete it, but it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to forget dates that you tell me to save. I'm going to schedule things sometimes without thinking about you. I'm going to forget stuff. But I don't want to forget it. And my intention is not to, but I'm going to slip up again. And is that kind of like what you're saying about that?
I almost feel like I'm thinking about with the run analogy, like the tortoise and the hare. Like, I feel like you're very hare, like with your life. Because your life is fast moving, and it's hard to pay attention to things. So it's like, maybe run like a little.
Well, I want to do that with everything. I'm so excited about this throat surgery because it is going to make me. I cannot talk, so I will be listening constantly. I will just be observing. It will be a completely almost meditative experience. I want to get quiet and calm and slow. I need to like purposely.
Yeah, I think your life the last 16 years has been on 1.8 speed, or maybe 2.5.
I need to talk slower, and that is actually for my vocal health.
Remember Vacation? No, because you've never been on one.
Oh, I thought you meant the movie.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
not the movie.
No. I'm just saying, like, your vacations are even work. You know, like, you just haven't let yourself, because you've had no
trips. I
in
let
your brain.
myself
I think
go, but
for 2 days.
Yeah, they're always so short. Yeah,
this is the best thing. I would not have been able to do this break where I don't do any podcasts. I don't do I just posted a tweet yesterday that said, normalize free time as not something that means it was something about like, just because I have free time doesn't mean that is I'm available. Like free time does not equal, oh, we should like put some press interviews in here, or like, because there's always something I can put in there. And the only way that I was able to get actual free time is to have my
nice bumper sticker
turn into Ariel, and to have Ursula take my voice. I'm calling Dr. Zeitel's Ursula because he's taking my voice from me, and I have to figure out. It's the only, because otherwise, let's say I took a break from the road and was like, I can't go on the road. Like I pull a Jonah Hill and I go, it's giving me anxiety. I'm not doing this part of my life. There's always something else I can do. I could do Zoom interviews. I could but when you can't talk, it really is like, I think it's going to make me a better guitarist because, man, I got to figure out how to express myself in that way.
Together we're like Ariel, because you can't talk anymore and I have a tail. So
can I be Sebastian?
And you brush your hair with a fork. Yes, you can be Sebastian. I was talking to Anthony Jeselnik last night.
No,
and
there's no wiggle
he was
room anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's no wiggle room for you with this no voice
No,
thing.
there's not.
Like, you have no options.
But that's what I love about it.
No
it's
options.
like literally being thrown in prison. And I'm like, there's nothing. It's like bondage that I talk about, where it's like you get to be lazy in bed, and it's forced laziness. Like no one gets to say I'm lazy in bed. I'm like, I'm tied up. I can't move. It's not my fault.
Is there any part of you, though, that goes, like, any part of your ego where you're like, even without a voice, I'm still gonna fucking do a special, or not a special, but like you're gonna figure out something.
Oh yeah, this
to do work.
People are going to actually do. I know that people are gonna steal my idea and have their vocal cords fixed because there's so many people with damage. Nearly everyone who sings has damage.
No, I'm just talking about you. I'm just
because
saying, like,
I'm
within
going
the
to
3
accomplish
weeks,
so
like,
much during it. It's going to make people go, well, what this? It's like when Mulaney quit drinking. I was like, that's his special sauce. Like I need to do what this guy does because he's on a next level, and I do believe this is going to take me to a next level, not comedically necessarily, but it's what my intention for it is to find like the artist I want to be after this, and to shift into like who I want to just find who I want to be after this, and my intention is to pull a Hannibal Buress and reinvent myself as another artist and to like start over. I really want to do it. I cannot sing as myself. I don't want to be a singer-songwriter as Nikki Glaser. That's a comedian. That is a TV host. I want to get like, it's so fun. I'm going to do like a character name and because when I started doing comedy, I was thinking about it because I'm trying to write songs right now and I'm like, I cannot, this is so hard to do. I keep saying I can't do it. But when I first wrote jokes, I just was like, what would Sarah Silverman write? Just write for Sarah Silverman. So I need to create, right now I'm kind of like, okay, write for Taylor Swift, write for Dua Lipa. Like if you had to turn in the song to them, what would it be? And that's an easier way. But I need to invent a character for myself that is me, and I'm waiting for what that is. And I think the name has to like find me. So my intention is like, I come out of this and I know, and I'm not going to reveal. I don't think I'm going to reveal who it is because I want to become famous in my own right without any help from my current career. And because people will always say, if you get famous and, Michael Jordan would not have made the baseball team if he wasn't Michael Jordan. And they gave him an extra, like, let's just see what this guy's got. Like what?
Well, yeah, they wanted to sell T-shirts.
Yeah,
or
what do you
whatever,
made the team? He actually probably would, but
game.
he'll never know because he went in as Michael Jordan, and people can always say no, they gave him an extra shot because he's Michael Jordan. Not that I'm comparing myself to him. I'm just saying I don't want anyone to be able to say she's actually not good. I want people to go. That girl, whatever my name is so good, and they go, do you know that's Nikki Glaser? Hannibal Buress is doing it with his rap career. He has to. He started this new, I forget the name of
He's good.
And he's great.
I listened to his freestyle the other day.
He's amazing.
It was like, did you hear the freestyle on
I saw him on Sway.
Morning?
It was so good. I mean, that guy's a genius.
I mean,
artist, and it makes sense. Like comedians are, that's what Sway was saying. I think it was Sway. It was someone who was interviewing. I don't think it was Sway actually, but it might have been on his show. Was saying to Hannibal, comedians are good at being artists, and like they can bridge that stuff. Like, look at Jamie Foxx. Did you hear Jamie Foxx's Trump?
I saw that.
Yeah, it was incredible.
That guy is probably the most talented person alive.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, Oscar winner,
it's
Grammy
one thing to
winner.
do the voice while also
Funny.
being so clever with like things throwing.
Oh my
at
God,
him,
when they
things
go, that's
thrown
how
at
they
him.
get you. That's how they get you. Because he was like,
Yeah.
So what is your favorite death row artist? And he was like, I see what he did there. That's it. Like the way you guys got to watch the impression he did of Trump, because it is number one, almost deep fake levels of like too spot on. Someone was talking about how deep fakes are not funny. Who was it? Oh, we were talking about Kyle Donegan doing impressions and how it's really funny the filter he puts on his face to do impersonations. If it was a deep fake with that voice, looks too much like them that it doesn't make it funny. You need to be a little bit off to parody it. And that is how good Jamie Foxx's is that it sounds so much like him. I mean, it is, I keep watching it. I'm like, this guy is the most talented person ever. And I never even saw Ray.
I mean, he didn't either. So
that reminds me of the best line of the show maybe ever is when I go, how do you know what your asshole looks like? And you were like, how does Stevie Wonder play the piano? Oh, yeah.
yeah, does he know what the keys look like? I don't think so.
That was one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, you're gonna always know where your asshole is. But I think like what's crazy about that is obviously he's a black man. He looks nothing like Donald Trump, but like some of these character actors can embody them where you're like, oh, you don't even have to, if you're that
Yes.
good at things, you don't even have to fucking.
But the reason I'm good at
crazy.
comedy is because I wasn't good enough at acting or singing to actually do. I would have been those things, right? Like those are the avenues that you learn about early on to become famous, which is what I craved, being on TV. And then comedy was the last thing I tried out of all of those things, and it stuck. But the truth is, what I didn't know then, and I talk about all the time, is like I just didn't work at those other things. And comedy, I just got lucky the first time and had a good set. And someone goes, I mean, I talk about it in one of my specials of like, all it takes to get a girl to blow you all the time is to be like, you're really good at this. Like, make her feel special, and then you'll do it forever. And that's why everyone has to be more heavy-handed with compliments when you are impressed by someone. Because I was talking to who was I talking to recently? The guy that's following me around for Esquire. His name's John McDermott. He's written so much for Esquire. He's a great writer. And he goes, I mean, he can trace his becoming a journalist to one teacher going, you could actually do this for a living. That the one teacher saying that. And like his whole career is based on this one person who believed in him. And I just didn't get that from singing and acting, whereas I got it with comedy. But the truth is, I could have come across someone that actually thought I was a good actress because I do have potential there, but I just never got in front of the right person to say that, or I would have been an actress, because all that does is push you to then practice enough because you know you're good. You have it in your head that like, I know no matter how bad I suck, that person who I respect thinks I have it. So I'm
and you respect
I'm
that person
unwavering.
sometimes.
That's what you need to become great, is an unwavering confidence that I know I'm good. Somewhere in here I'm good. And if you don't have that going into something, and you also don't have the you haven't read a book like The Talent Code that talks about like talent is not born, it is practiced, you will not get good at things. Like you need that, and especially at a young impressionable age. I have it now for myself. I realize like I'm having a lot of epiphanies about being at an age where like I have to decide if I'm having kids, and I was like, what if I don't have kids? And if let's say my ideal daughter is like, oh, she's like this Olivia Rodrigo, like emotional artist who's like knows herself, is like inspiring people, but like,
why can't that be you?
why can't I give that same like opportunity that I would give my daughter to facilitate that to myself? Because I don't have to pay for swim lessons. I don't have to pay for dental appointments for my kids. I don't have to. I can mother myself. I can start over, because also I think a lot of people don't pursue talents later in life because they have jobs, they have kids, they don't have time to spend hours it takes to get good at something. I'm not bragging, but I don't have kids. I have jobs that I can actually walk away from in a responsible way. I've saved enough money. That's why Whitney last night was like, are you going to buy a house? And I go, no, I'm going to keep living moderately because I need to finance my pop star career. Like I need to be like Miley Cyrus's, well, not Miley Cyrus's mom, but like, you know, these young moms of like these young girls that go like, we're going to move out of Ohio, move to LA and fucking take a shot. And I'm going to bank all my money on my daughter pursuing her dream. I can do that for myself because I would do that for my daughter no matter what she wanted to pursue. So it's a nice way to flip it in my head of like, if I don't have kids, I can mother myself and start over.
Yeah, there's something about like Hannibal doing rap where the analogy, the thing is like a lot of rap is comedy, right? It's just like one-liners that are like left turn. So there, it's not
too far off.
The bridge from comedy, it's not so far.
Well, that's why
off.
you're good
But
at freestyling. It's the same kind of
but
like
I'm saying,
way you do.
But
comedy.
my point though is like if you go from comedy to singer-songwriter, where it's a heart and emotional, and you have to really. It's a bigger leap in a way from going comedy to
rap.
I've
already faced the backlash of
acting.
of being like trashed about my Bob Saget song, and
exactly that's my
that's
point.
why I'm like I gotta kill off Nikki Glaser singer. Like Matt Pond is releasing some songs with his new band, The Natural Lines, which they have a new song out. I really implore everyone to add it to their Spotify because it's my friend, and that's
say one more time.
The Natural Lines,
right?
and the new song is The Problem Is Me. I recorded that song. He wrote that song for me to record, and I recorded it, and so I know it already. It's such a good song. He did such a better job with it, obviously. I've been playing it nonstop. It's called The Problem Is Me. I put it on my Instagram story yesterday. But that, what was I going to say? I he's gonna release some of the songs. I think St. Lou, which is the song that was on my show, and this other song, not Still Summer. I forget what it's called. Endless Summer. We're gonna release those 2 on a record next May, and he's getting together all this record design, and it said Nikki Glaser with the Natural Lines, and I'm like, can you just do the Natural Lines featuring Nikki Glaser? Like, I don't want. This is the old me, and like she had a voice. Things are great. The songs are great, but I'm gonna reinvent and so that I can. If people go, oh my God, Nikki Glaser's singing, it's so embarrassing. I'm gonna go, no, she's actually Nikki Glaser's not singing. Nikki Glaser does comedy. George Funk is singing. I don't even know what my name is gonna be. It might be like a boy's name. I honestly am like, I get to be anyone I want, and it's so cool because it's also like having a baby. You get to like name yourself. Like, I know this sounds very transy, and I mean that in the best way, but like I get to create a new person, and maybe that's just what I'm thinking now I'm gonna do.
I feel like
but I want to be a new person with this. I'm
thinking what, like, because Garth Brooks obviously
Chris Gaines.
With Chris Gaines, it was a little much because he went to like straight hair, and it was like
I can't straighten my hair.
He just like. By the way, I love that album. I listened to it when I had mono and I was crying in a fraternity house writing poems. So like, it means a lot to me. But I'm just trying to think.
Did you know it was Garth Brooks? Like, I forget how he did that.
There was like, is that Garth Brooks? It definitely
was it like this is. It was
anyone.
Sasha Fierce. Like, I'm Beyonce, but this is my alter ego. Ziggy Stardust, like Bowie.
Yeah, I believe that's how it was. The only thing he changed was straightened his hair, and he had like a little soul patch.
I might do wigs. Like I want to do wig. I want really like I can't. I don't want to look like myself. I want to sing. Totally like maybe do like a dead mouse thing, like in a fucking helmet or something. Like I want.
And the character gives
I eventually
you an
will take it off once
freedom.
I know who this person is. But I might Daft Punk it of like I don't want. I want people to go like, I want to disappear into it. And I don't want anyone to know it's me. But I also
like show
can't
less
shut
face
the
and
fuck
more
up,
tits.
so I probably will end up just being like Hannibal about it of like, don't judge this person. She's a new artist. It is me though, But that's the trick is like, you gotta create a separate persona.
I love picturing you though doing the podcast with the Daft Punk helmet on.
I mean, I basically do that on days where my eyes look like
you
shit
forget.
with the sunglasses. That is another
you forget,
thing.
Like
no
the
hair
worlds
and makeup.
collide.
That's what I love about Sia. I don't know if people know this, but Sia did not put on a wig and sing with her back to the camera because she felt like she was ugly or embarrassed. Like maybe those things were the self-esteem stuff. She wanted to have a normal life where everyone didn't know it was her everywhere she went. And so she purposely did that to be separate from the artist. Anya said to me recently that Sharon Stone was always like, when people talk about Sharon Stone in the tabloids, that's not me. I'm a different person. She didn't have to give herself a different name, even though Sharon Stone is an amazing, pseudonym. But I got to come up with a new name, which who knows if it's going to be like Kesha or it's going to be like 2 names or it's going to be, Cincinnati Sue. Andrew's frozen again, but we'll be right back with Fanthrax. All right, we're back. Let's get to Fanthrax. Hell yes. Let's hear what the busties have to say this week.
So many good voicemails. Let's start off with Alyssa.
Hey, Nikki, Noah, and Andrew. I love you all. Bestie for life since the beginning, blah, blah, blah. So I work in a restaurant,
BFL.
and I was listening to the Horsehead with Glenn Glebe episode about how sometimes the customer's not always right in everything, and I just want everyone to know that, like, what we do in my restaurant to get through it is we kind of poke fun at the customers without them knowing. We have this thing called LHC, and that means lick her cunt or lick his cock. That means going above and beyond, but like kind of being sarcastic about it. So it's like, oh my god, yes, I'd love to get you an extra side of ranch. Abso-fucking-lutely. Shit like that. And then we also do this thing where when people leave, instead of saying take care, we say dick hair. it kind of sounds the same, and it's just a little way for us to laugh and keep things light. Because honestly, the restaurant industry sucks right now, and
Yeah,
but
it
we're there
does.
for a reason. We love our jobs, and it's fun. It's great money.
Get out
and
there to
we're just gonna make
restaurants
light
if you're
of
a
it.
good person.
Anyways, I love you all, and
Love you.
Jack Rabbit.
Jackrabbit, love
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah,
so
I really
funny,
implore people,
dick hair.
if you got expendable cash and you like dining out, get out there, be nice to your wait staff, tip a lot, help them out, because I think it is it's a struggle out there right now in customer service. Entitled people, it's just something's changing culturally where people are so mean. But I love these little tricks. What is it? LHC. Lick his
LHC.
cock.
Was it
Loogie his
lick
coke.
cock?
No, don't spit in your people's food.
I would
but
love
yeah.
to get you another ranch.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Yes. Oh, you just being so nice that they kind of know you hate them. It's good. I used to say, you could say to someone, have a good one, and they don't know that you mean death. Like, to you, it can mean death. You know, like
Yeah.
you can make it for you. They don't know. You sound like you're being nice. Have a good one. Or like
I just love like dick
have
hair.
a good cry
versus
later, you sad
take-
bitch.
Take care, dick hair. I kind of see how it, but I
Dick
can see
hair.
people in their car being like,
Go on.
did they say dick hair?
Day. It was like that when I went to Six Flags with my dad once when we were kids, and the guy goes, all right, and we go to the ticket counter or whatever. He goes, all right, get your ass in the park. And my dad goes, what? And he goes, get your ass in the park. And my dad goes, did you say get your ass? And he goes, no, I said, welcome to Jurassic Park. It was like, because it was raining outside, and he was like making
Yeah.
a joke that it was like really ominous weather. And we laughed. We loved it because we were young, and it was like, that guy just said, get your ass in the park. It was so fun. I love those.
We had a moment on the cruise where
hurts.
this girl would come around and she goes, silver in the glass, silver in the glass. And we're like, silver in the glass. And we're all like, what the fuck?
Glass. What could she
Souvenir glass. And but like
One of
those things with your family, you go nuts. Like it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
the funniest thing
That can keep you going
ever
for
to
years.
happen.
My
Silver in the
favorite one
glass.
of those is in Amy's movie Snatched with Goldie Hawn, where they check into this hotel, and the person comes up to them with like these little glasses of like smoothie, and he goes, welcome.
Oh,
And she's like, welcome? And it looks like, and he's like, welcome. And she's like, oh no, she takes a sip, and he goes, welcome. And she's like, and it's like this Hawaiian resort, and she thinks it's welcome. I thought that was one of my favorite ones.
she's like, I'll have a large.
Venti, please. Blowhole. All right, next Fanthrax. All right, just saying words.
Okay.
No, those
Hey,
all came
Nikki,
together.
Andrew, and Noah. This is your bestie, Stephanie, from San Francisco. You know, where Andrew had to get a new pair of shoes right before walking onto his set. I actually watch y'all's show on YouTube, and after I watch the current show, YouTube will just randomly place on an older episode, and it played episode 160, which is with Anya Maria, and she is talking about a bikini being lost in New Jersey through USPS. And she wasn't going to have it from Mexico. And I just now, all of a sudden, need insight. I need the follow through. I need the end of the story. I need the plane landed. What happened to bikini? I'm going to have trouble sleeping tonight if I don't find out. Was Anya Marie naked? Was she able to resurface in her brand new bikini in Mexico? All right. I love you guys so much. I'm proud to be a bestie. Don't be cut. And Jack Antonoff. Bye.
Love it, Jack Antonoff. This is a new kind of Fanthrax I like, where people, because there are a lot of loose ends on the show. If you need some kind of closure, please ask for it, and we'll give it to you. The closure here, I think Noah has the answer.
Yeah. So I reached out to Anya this morning, and she goes, yes, I got it back 8 months later. Now I'm selling it on eBay. It's brand new, extra small. It's been on sale for months. No bites.
Well, we got to get her name on eBay so people can check it out.
Yeah.
And by
That
the
would
way, she
sell
did
for
have a
millions.
bikini in the Hamptons that is so cute and perfect. And I believe it's from the same company because it was Italian. So maybe she got an extra, but it is very cute. So yeah, try to find that. I don't know the brand or anything, but that 8 months later, Jesus Christ. Glad we tied up that string bikini. Great Fanthrax. Next up.
All right. Here's a story from Megan.
Imagine
Hey,
she was
Nikki,
a large.
Andrew, and Noah. My name is Megan, and I was calling because a few weeks ago you had talked about the awkwardness of like watching a movie where the same situation is happening and it's awkward between the people watching. In college, our friend's dog had just died, so we knew going into Pet Cemetery that it was going to be a little weird, but we kind of thought we'd like laugh our way through it. We didn't know that in the movie they get burned alive, and her brother had been burned alive and had died that way. And instead of turning it off and being mature and looking at her and saying, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," we were all like, in our early 20s. We just watched the whole thing and then like silently filed out of the apartment, and it was never mentioned. And I still am mortified that happened. We never talked about it ever with her.
God.
So sad.
So she lost her dog and her brother died?
Her brother was burned alive.
But
And then
she
they watched
also
Pet
lost her
Sematary.
dog,
Yeah, so
right?
this-
Like she lost her dog, so it was already awkward. That it was like, oh, the dog.
But they
thing's in the
kind
air
of
about
knew
Pet
going
Sematary.
into it. They just didn't know about the
that's
burned
okay.
body.
And then she also had this other tragic thing happen in her life that is, oh my.
Okay, wait. There's a little bit left.
Awkward?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
And then the second thing is in the last episode, you were doing your impressions of everyone, and it clicked with me that you identify with a bird because you are like a bird that mocks people. A parakeet? Is that what they are? Or a parrot? So
Mimics you
just
probably.
noticed
Thank
that.
you.
Didn't know if you had made the connection of your impersonations. Thanks, guys. That's all I've got.
Such a good point. Because I'm like a bird because I can only do 2-second impressions. Like birds don't really like go
they don't
places
know
with
that
their
many
impressions. They
words.
just do like a couple words. Yeah, that's why. Okay, I really like that spin.
I can't get over the burn thing now.
Oh my God, that sucks so much. It's so sad. And I mean, I've had things where it's like, you know, when I was anorexic, I remember just always just being so aware of watching anything that might make someone feel awkward about the fact that I'm struggling with this thing. Like, I don't want to watch something where someone gets called out for being anorexic because then my whole family is going to be like, it's the elephant in the room. Like, you know, being aware of things about me that like, yeah, if I lost my brother in a fire, I would be so cautious, not about my own like trauma, but like of people feeling sorry for me watching things. Does that make sense? Like worrying about
Yeah,
that people are going to be like, oh my God, this is so awkward for Nikki. And being like, I think that's maybe part of my personality is just to take care of other people's feelings about my own trauma instead of my own, because it's easier that way.
I mean, next time,
that
like
one.
maybe do Look Who's Talking or something.
Trying to think
The
of.
movie choice, whoever chose the movie, really.
Yeah, next time choose Marley and Me. Just go right there.
No,
one
that's so
gets
sad,
burned
too.
alive
The
in
dog
it. Well, at least
dies,
you're sticking
though.
with the dog theme and you're not risking any like complete family tragedies popping up. All right, final thought. Let's go to another.
Okay. This one comes from Molly.
You guys, I am listening to episode 255, Gibberish Training Bra, and you guys are talking about chin hairs and nipple hairs and how, oh my God, sorry to bring this up again, Noah, but you had to shave the morning after like a hookup to like control the chin hair, and I feel so seen. I seriously have been so insecure about like, I get like these like hairs, like I guess it's basically like a sideburn, and they grow so fast, and it's so embarrassing, and it makes me feel like a gross man. And now I know that like Hala and Nikki and Noah like all have the same thing, and I should have known this sooner, but I truly feel so seen, and I just had to call in and tell you guys.
I'm so glad. Oh my God, because honestly, there are these things that we think other people don't have, even though we have been exposed to so many people admitting their truths that you think there's still things about you that other people don't have, but you just keep whatever you got going. There is someone that has it. I'm so glad you felt seen by that.
I was just thinking of like another thing that you pointed out.
Please.
That's like such like an embarrassing thing, but it happens to just about every woman. And that's like the little joint toilet paper in our vaginas.
Yes. That was a real big, like that was learning, seeing those joints and realizing other women had them. And those joints, I was never been in this bathroom before. So those have to be from another woman. So it was a moment for me in a stall when I saw those of like, I know that this isn't just me. I don't think I put it in the special, but like even taking baths with my sister, like my vagina just sucks up toilet paper. I remember as being a kid in the bath with my sister and having to skim the top of the water to like collect the toilet paper that I had accumulated in my vagina that would be released in the bath as a child. Even my vagina was like just swiffering debris. It was insane. Like I worked at
Maybe
like
we could
like
use your
pond
vagina
scum.
to clean up the ocean. You know, like go reverse. I love the idea too of like, thank God for the internet and shows like ours where we're very honest about our like vulnerabilities.
What did people do in the 60s
Back in the
when
day,
you had to hide everything?
No, you were just a bearded woman in the circus, like back in the day. You're like,
If you embraced it, otherwise you just didn't leave their house.
yeah.
But there's still things. I gotta think there's something that that I am struggling with. I'm sure there's something that I can't even go to in my head because it is so in the recesses of like, I will never tell anyone that other people listening right now, you struggle with it too, thinking no one else does. I know there's something that is my goal in life, is to get all of those things out of me and like be able to admit them freely, to free up any kind of like, just even talking about, it was so nice. I ran into a bestie. Maybe it wasn't a bestie. Yesterday I filmed a TV show, and the woman that was like my on-set, contact was like, I just saw you last night at Supernova. Your pedophilia bit was so fucking good. I never thought I'd tell someone that, but I love your pedophile jokes. And I think that is where I'm kind of getting into it of like, I've had to be like, wait, what if I am a pedophile? Like, you have to ask yourself that question at some point of like, what if I'm a murderer? Or like, we all have these dark thoughts of like, oh my God, I just thought of pushing that person in front of traffic. Like, am I a psychopath? Or like, I think a lot of times I've heard guys admit when it used to be a thing that carried more shame, even though it still does for many people, about being gay, that men have to go like, am I gay? Like, and give it a real serious thought of like, do I even want to explore that? Because if I let that out, is it going to make me gay? And I think that, in my joke, I go, I'm talking about my nephew wanting to shower with me and saying to him like, or saying to my sister like, no, he can't, because what if I molest him? And like saying that puts it out there that like I've questioned like, but like could it be in me? And that is something I would never have admitted to even thinking before, because it might mean that I am if I've had that thought. But now I know intrusive thoughts like that, if anything, the fact that I'm worried about it means I'm not. And I also know I'm not, because you're a pedophile by the time you're 13. Like by the time you've reached puberty, if you're not attracted to kids by then, you're not gonna be. So if anyone out there is ever worried about that, I've looked into it, because I'm like, because I always just reason no one chooses to be a pedophile. So I don't want that to happen to me. Like what if you bump your head? Like what if no one knows the root cause of it? But I do know that if you are the unfortunate person to be attracted to children, and that's part of your brain, fuck, we talked about it before, but it's not your fault, but it is up to you what you do with it, which I hope is like, are proactive in making sure you do not hurt anyone with it. But no one chooses that. And I think that there is a part of me that was always like, what if, like, I just got lucky that I'm not a murderer, or I'm not homicidal, or I'm not a psychopath. Like, you don't get to choose your brain. But I think that was something that for a while I was scared to admit, that I even thought, like, could I be this? Because I'm so fascinated by it and then now I have a whole bit where it's like, people kind of go, why is she so into pedophilia? And I've talked about it before on the show, but it's like, well, girls are into murder podcasts, and you don't go, she's a murderer. It's like, no, I'm just,
or disgusting for like thinking it or like enjoying it.
I'm just, my new joke is I'm a pederisto. You know how they call like the girls, people that are fans of my favorite murder podcast are called like murderistos. So I'm trying to make it like a cute thing of like,
yeah, if it has
I
a
just
cute
like
name to it.
Yeah. I guess I got to work on that, but it was nice. There's stuff like that I even admitting on stage that I was the other woman in a relationship and I pursued a guy that had a girlfriend, that was something that I go, I'm going to have to take this one to the grave because no one's going to empathize with this. I'm a bad person. But even that, like, I know I'm not alone because I did the math on it. I'm like, if everyone says they've been cheated on, there's a lot more women that are the other woman on the other side of this than I'm hearing about. I mean, for everyone that's been cheated on, there's another woman. But why am I only hearing about women being cheated on? Why is no one talking about being another woman? It's because no one is admitting it because it's embarrassing and that you get villainized. But there's just as many women out there. My joke is it just me and Leanne Rimes fucking your boyfriends? And the funny part is I saw Leanne Rimes on a flight recently and I wanted to tell her about the joke and be like, oh, you're mentioning my joke, but I don't think we're there yet because I don't know her personally. And so I shouldn't probably comment on the fact that she's in a relationship with someone who was in a relationship when they met.
I mean, I feel like if you're looking back at it, there's like a difference, like a feeling of like, I was the other person. I acknowledge it. I'm coming clean about it. I don't know if I want to do it again in the future. I think the trick is to be able to do it in the moment because then you can stop the behavior. Like if you get on, I mean, that's the first step in all program stuff is like, I'm an alcoholic. Admitting that you currently are doing a bad thing, that is where you want to get to because the sooner you can address it, the sooner you can go, well, this is not who I want to be. But it takes that lag for me. It took a year and a half before I could admit on stage after I pursued a guy with a girlfriend that I did that. I wouldn't even reference it on a podcast, because I was so ashamed of it. And now he
because
made you sign an NDA, didn't he?
Well, I was going to try to make a new acronym out of NDA.
I think it's lick cunt hair, dickhead, or whatever.
Nikki's doing adultery. But and it is, I'm only able to talk about it not because I got space from it, which is maybe part of it, but because I'm not ashamed about it because I thought about it enough and I go, I'm not a bad person because this happened. I made a mistake. I didn't do something that I'm proud of. I don't want to be that way anymore, but I'm not ashamed of it. I accept it about myself as a thing that I did that I don't want to do again.
And there's millions of other people that are flawed in the same exact way.
Yeah,
but they're
so if
not
you've been the
honest
other
about
woman
it.
and everyone is making you feel bad about it in your life, and there's nothing for you to listen. I mean, this is a part of it I want to do is like, there's no songs. When I was going through it and I was like pining for a guy with a girlfriend and I wanted someone to have a little bit of empathy for my situation, there's one fucking song for you. It's Illicit Affairs by Taylor Swift. It's the only song written from the perspective that I could find of the perspective of the woman who knew the guy had a girlfriend and still went after him. And it actually has some empathy for her. But it's otherwise, most songs are like, bitch, you took my man, fuck you. Or like, fuck you for cheating on me, you piece of shit. It's always written from that woman's perspective that got hurt by that woman, which is a valid place to be as well. Not invalidating that anger, although I do think it's misplaced on the girl often, because you have to. If you stay with the guy that cheats on you, you have to make the woman who he cheated on the villain.
Oh my God.
Because you couldn't stay with the guy otherwise.
Should I just tell you? Oh, I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
There's this woman. I got to send you the article. She put up a TikTok. All these women were talking shit about her in her TikTok, right? She finds the women on Instagram, sees their husbands, and starts DMing their husbands, and then shows the women that were talking shit about them in the comments the receipts of how the husband wants to fucking cheat on them. Oh boy. I don't know how I didn't send it to you. I was like, this is fucking juicy.
I'm sorry, as fucking toxic and unhinged as that is, boy, do I love
so
that.
Unhinged. She made videos of it, talking to the woman, reading the receipts. Wild. It's wild.
It's so good and so bad. I'm glad that I wouldn't do that, but man, I like that that's out there because what a way to show women like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're on your little pedestal,
yeah,
making fun of me, judging me, and you think your life is perfect. That's what I want to do to all these people that ever comment about celebrities, including my fucking self. Whenever I have an opinion about someone, I want to go, who the fuck do you think you are having any opinion about Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles' relationship when you don't fucking know anything? And you think you're perfect? No one is perfect enough to judge anyone. And this woman, man, you got to send that to me. That's good.
I got to find it.
Maybe we'll post it on our story. But that's diabolical. Thank you guys so much for your Fanthraxes. Great ones today. We have one more week of shows before I go on vocal rest. Thank you for all your kind words this week when I was depressed. We got through it. Thank you to Andrew and Noah for putting up with me or accepting me is how I'll say that.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. You guys are the best and love all the fans, all the besties. And I'm going to be in Vegas. Vegas is how you say it. Tomorrow night at the Virgin Hotel Casino. If you want to just do a last minute trip to Vegas, look at flights. Come see me. Meet and greets afterwards. If you want to get a meet and greet, just DM me, all caps, important, and I'll see it, and I'll give you free meet and greet if you buy tickets to come see me in Vegas at the Virgin Hotel Theater with Benedict Pilozzi and Anya Marina. So that'll be tomorrow, my last show before I become an alter ego. And if you have any ideas for my alter ego name, please send them my way as well. Don't be cut and Jack. Be nimble, Jack.
Forming on a virgin place, and your voice will be new.
A virgin place.
And you're gonna have
I'm
a
always
new voice
performing
after
from a
this.
virgin place. Born again.